Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Most of the time I like to spit game, lace people up with knowledge, talk about mind, body, and soul issues, and try to philosophize on this stuff so we can become stronger people. So we can engage a little bit more in self-mastery, detach from our emotions, all that. Sometimes I just like to tell stories. So let's just get into some stories. I own a motorcycle shop, and I have for 22 years. It's called Sinister City Motorcycles. I started it in Los Angeles in the year 2000, and we moved to Florida in 2004, I guess it was. I've been in Florida ever since. In the motorcycle industry, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of, I don't know, what do you want to call it? A lot of drama, and it's based around people talking shit about each other. There's a lot of shops that just talk a lot of shit about each other, and it's all just based on the competitiveness that we have, but it's really kind of a new thing. I say new, I mean within the last 15 years. When I first started my shop, back in the year 2000, it was kind of a secret squirrel society with motorcycle shop builders, especially with the custom world, because I have a custom motorcycle shop. I'm not changing your oil. Learn how to do that shit yourself. And we all kind of knew each other. And sure, there was a tiered pyramid with Arlen Ness and Eddie Trotta and, Perowitz, and you can go down the line, Indian Larry, and these types of people maybe at the top, and then there were, second tier ones and the third tier. I don't know where I was at the bottom, but I was in there. I don't try to lie to people and act like I'm a millionaire or that I own an empire. But we all kind of knew each other, and we were aware of each other, and there was a certain amount of respect that we had for each other, because we're all in the game. You're all playing the game, and there was enough money to revolve with all of us. The competition wasn't as hard. I wasn't trying to take bikes out of your shop, take customers out of your shop, take food out of your mouth. There was enough people that wanted choppers for all of us to do it. And then those TV shows happened, and it really inspired a lot of people. And the industry started to change. There were a lot of new faces. For me, it was exciting because I was ready for the new breed of bikers. And we used to advertise this, and I used to do artwork, and it would always say, Sinister City, the new breed of bikers. And we would promote this to try to get Generation X, my generation, into the scene, because it was a scene that had been dominated for 20 years by my parents' generation, the baby boomers. And as more and more people my own age started to crash the scene, the more and more people started talking shit. I never knew what I think about karma, but I know what I think about the rules of respect. A lot of people don't know the rules of respect, and you don't follow them. People from the streets follow them. Warriors, military guys follow them. They're trained heavily in respect. A lot of people talk shit about my shop simply because we had a different niche than everybody else. Most people were building Harley-Davidson choppers, expensive $80,000, $90,000 bikes to sell to rich people. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sell Honda choppers, Triumph choppers, bobbers, street fighters, cafe racers, more affordable bikes. Even if they weren't one-off builds and it was just a customization, I wanted to have a stable at my shop of all times of really cool bikes like that were affordable. So a working class person like myself with anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 could come in and say, that's my dream bike, I'll ride the fuck out of that thing. I didn't want these rich fucking dentists and insurance brokers and people like that, stockbrokers and people who were buying those expensive choppers. I didn't want them to take over the scene, for those guys to be the only ones you see at these fucking bike nights on a cool bike. And people talked a gang of shit about us because we weren't doing the $80,000 bikes. We'd show up to the Rat's Hole, which used to be the biggest show there was, period. The biggest show in America was the Rat's Hole show. It's not that way anymore. But that was the show that all the TV networks showed up to. It would be an ocean of TV networks with their cameras, interviewers with microphones, magazines. To be in that show was a surefire way of getting noticed. Just to be there, just to have a bike there. If you got a trophy, you're definitely getting in the magazines and probably getting in the TV shows. And I didn't care. People talk shit about me. I'm making money. You know, I'm allowed to have my own niche. You guys want to all do the same thing and all pretend to be Jesse James, then go do that. I don't give a fuck what you do. But one of my customers comes in one day, this guy Joel, and he was one of our better customers, military guy. I love the military guys because these guys have a different kind of budgeting with their money. At least the ones who are active military and live on base. It's just, maybe they get paid a lot, or they don't have as high of bills, but a lot of these guys, not all, but a lot of them had, at least back then, had disposable income. So I was getting a lot of business to build these affordable custom motorcycles for military guys. And Joel he's no longer in the military, but he was back then, and he was a submarine commander for a nuclear sub. And Joel was a badass. Certified badass motherfucker. He was also a hunting instructor on his private his private time. He would talk about these wild hunting trips of where he'd run down a hill in the middle of the woods, through the thickets, run up to a bear point blank range and fucking bust a grizzly bear right in his face with a revolver as it's attacking him, and these crazy hunting stories like that. This Joel was a bad motherfucker. I had a lot of respect for Joel. And he spent a lot of money at our shop. We built him a Honda chopper, really crazy Honda chopper, way over the top. I tried to reel him in a little bit and be like, dude, it's getting too crazy. You know, I'm not Orange County Choppers, you know, we don't do that kind of theme shit. And he's just like, more, let's put more shit on it. He was down in Merritt Island, south of here, on a Friday night with his chopper at the little shopping area. And wherever he pulled up with that bike, people are going to come stand around and want to talk to him, especially other military guys. And he was well known in the military scene. And some fucking idiot, drunk idiot, comes up to Joel. And Joel has a concealed weapons permit with a gun on him. If he shoots you in the head, these cops are going to come up and shake his hand and want an autograph. He is never going to be wrong. This fucking idiot, drunk idiot, comes up to Joel, poking him in the chest. And Joel's wearing one of our Sinister shirts with our logo. We used to have, we have tons of shirts now, but the classic shirts was just the logo in the front. So he's wearing one of the old shirts. And this guy's poking Joel in the chest, saying, you need to get your bike built at a real shop, and bad-mouthing Sinister. He was our best customer. Joel was down for my shop like a motherfucker. Joel was furious. He comes back and tells me, he kept his composure. He didn't beat the guy up. He could have killed him. But he told me about this like a day after, and was just like, hey, I don't know who that was, but it's somebody who owns a Triumph and works at Mad Creations. Do you know that shop, Mad Creations? And I was like, yes, I know exactly who that shop is owned by. It's this guy Dominic. Dominic had no legs. He got run over by a train, and he took all his money, his train money, because he sued the fucking railroad for millions. Got millions. You don't lose your legs in a railroad accident and walk away with no money. He got millions from the railroad and started this badass motorcycle shop on the block that I used to be on, where my old shop was. We have a new shop. I own the building now. The old shop, I just rented a warehouse in an industrial area. There were 5 or 7 other motorcycle shops within walking distance, including a dealership. And Dominic with Mad Creations was all the way on the end, on the corner. Awesome building. We had a couple buildings, but it was a great property. Very impressive property. Had it all graffitied up. It looked real nice. So I go marching down there. I'm from the streets, and I'm all about that first shot fired. I'm not going to wait for you to fire a shot. I'm going right to you. If I hear whispers that somebody's talking shit across town, I'm rocking and rolling. We are going over there, and we're going to see who the fuck is talking shit. We're going to find out. So I go stomping into their shop. Who's talking shit about Sinister? Was it you? I go up to everybody, nose to nose, mad as fuck. Who was it? Was it you? You talk shit about me, my shop? Which one? And they're all like, oh, no, Sky. No, we would never say nothing about you. They had a guy who I'm friends with to this day, and he's a great guy. This guy, Brian Bone, Devil's Candy Customs. If you need a paint job, go to Brian. He's the best there is. I love Brian. If Brian's watching this video, I love you. But I remember when I talked to you, Brian, at Mad Creations, because he was an employee there. And Brian was big-chested guy. I don't know if he was on steroids back then, but Brian used to be a bodybuilder. I go right up to him, you talking shit about my shop? And even Brian, even their biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room was like, no, Sky, I would never say nothing about you. I was furious. I told them all, I'll fight every one of you individually or at once, out in the street right now. And I'm out in the street, pull my shirt off, and I'm just like, come on, motherfucker, come on. You know, who talking shit? Y'all don't know what's gonna happen. This doesn't end here, motherfucker. This is your worst fucking nightmare. You messed with the Psycho. And now this is the worst movie you've ever seen. So I was going crazy. I never found out who talked shit. Oh, it burned me. For like 2 years, I was still mad. I don't forget. Whoever it was that fucked with my buddy Joel that night in Merritt Island is gonna fucking get it. Mad Creations went out of business. Brian, great dude, started his own business, Devil's Candy. He started a little empire. Going out of business, he had a big lawsuit with Mad Creations. There was an ugly breakup with them. It worked out for him beautifully, and he has an empire. He was a couple doors down from me, from my old warehouse. And on the other side of the wall from me was this Daytona Paint and Body. They're just a body shop. They do mostly cars, some trikes. They had a deal with the trike shop, so they would do those trike bodies, those plastic fiberglass trike bodies, paint them up. This kid from Mad Creations, because when Mad Creations went out of business, everybody scattered and went and got jobs at all the other shops. So one of the kids from Mad Creations, little blonde-haired fuck, nice guy from Minnesota, nice kid. I talk to him every once in a while, frequently. He loved country music for some reason, and every once in a while I'd be jamming to country music in my shop, and it was thin walls so he could hear it. And I think it was like the soundtrack to that Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And he came over and we had a pretty good conversation one day. And weird thing about that guy, he ended up going back to Minnesota. I asked the owner, Scott, I was like, well, where's that little dude? I haven't seen him around. And he's like, oh, weird story. He had to go back to Minnesota. He broke his back and he broke his neck just the other week, just last week. And I was like, really? Because I just saw him last week. And he's like, yeah. He was drunk. Apparently he's a huge drinker, drunk as fuck, he had some buddies over his apartment, goes into the bathroom, his own bathroom, and falls in a drunken stupor, passes out, I guess, and falls forward. It's a small bathroom, and hits the wall. So if this is the wall and this is him, he falls forward, hits the wall with his face, breaks his neck, slides down the wall, breaks his back. What a bunch of bad luck that is. He was a nice kid and I felt really bad. And Scott told me, yeah, he's a good kid. He was with Mad Creations. Him and his Triumph, he shipped his Triumph back and he went back to Minnesota and he's gonna be okay, but this is a serious injury. And I was like, wait a minute. Triumph? That's the motherfucker that was talking shit to Joel? I no longer felt sorry about his broken neck. Fuck you and your broken neck. You shouldn't have said nothing to Joel like that. You shouldn't have come to my fucking homeboy like that. That's karma. That's what happens when you talk about Sinister. The universe will dole it out, motherfucker. Thanks for watching.